Welcome back, my favorite game developers. In this video we've actually fixed all the things that were wrong with our grappling hook, but not only that, now when we hit the E key it doesn't look away, and we added a particle system. We've added a zoom in and zoom out to the camera. This adds a lot more speed to our game, and we actually fixed everything wrong with our hook, so now it really looks like a real hook. So now we fly, we have this particle system, we are warping through our world, we can shoot our enemies while going down. We have an amazing game. We even have a pause menu and a main menu. So let's not waste any more time and let's get started with this very long video. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix our problems. There is not a lot, but we're going to fix them. So first of all, what we want to do is whenever we start, we want to deactivate our grappling hook. So let's go to the grappling hook. We'll need to access the game object and we'll set active to false. So whenever we start, our grappling hook is off. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create, we have all of these right here. So we'll create a method for them. Let me just show you what I mean. So for example, the state normal and the reset gravity, we also want to add to it. Whenever we stop moving, we want to set the game object of our grappling hook to false. So we don't want to add it everywhere. So we have 3 places where we have them. So let's go ahead and create a method for all of these. We'll call it the private void stop hook shot. And in here we are going to copy these. We'll add a couple of things more to this, and you'll see it's very important to have this. And we'll access the grappling hook dot set active, the game object dot set active, and it's going to be false. And let's go ahead and call the stop hookshot action in here and in here and also in here. And if we find another place, so we'll also need to stop the hookshot. Do we have any other place for it? I don't think so. Do we? No, we don't. Okay, great. So where are we? Whenever we actually shoot in here, when we start throwing, we want to go ahead and get the grappling hook dot game object, and we want to set it to active. Okay, great. Let's save that. Let's go ahead and test this out. So when we hit play, we'll send our hook shot. It will go there, and when it gets to the distance, it will stop. Okay, great. Now, the next thing we want to do is we actually want to go ahead and keep the hook shot looking. So the problem right now, if we, for example, shoot a hook shot there, when we move, you can see that the hook shot starts moving around with us. So we'll need to handle that. Let's go into our handle hook shot movement. So in here, whenever we choose the direction and all of that, we are actually going to, after we choose the direction, we are actually going to go ahead and get the grappling hook dot look at, and we're going to be looking at the hook shot position. So now even as we are moving or flying around, our hook shot or grappling hook is always looking at the hook shot position. Save that. Now let's take a look and see if that works. Hit play. And now the E key goes. Even when we look around, we move around, nope, there is the hook shot. It's still there. Very nice. So great. Everything should be working fine. It even disappears when we get to our position. It doesn't appear anymore under us. It only appears when we need it, and then we jump, and everything works great. Now it's time to add a couple of things, like for example, we want our FOV or the camera to zoom in and zoom out based on our while we are flying. This will add a bit of speed feeling to our game. So it's going to be part of your challenge. So zoom in and out when we are flying. So find the camera and zoom in when we are flying using the hookshot and zoom out when we stop using the hookshot. So we've already done this kind of challenge, I think, a couple of videos ago. So your only job is to find where we need to actually zoom in and when we shouldn't be zooming in. So pause the video right now and go do the challenge. Okay, welcome back. So as I remember, it was the camera move. So the camera move in here, and it's zooming in, and we need a target zoom. So a target FOV. Back in our player, where should we be calling our zoom in? Well, we should be calling it as long as the hook shot hasn't actually got to the position. So as long as the hook shot size in here, so as long as the hookshot size is still less than the distance, then what we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and find a game object of type. It's going to be the camera move, and in here we'll access the zoom in. And how much should we be zooming in? Let's see. If we go to the camera, we increase this. If we, let's say, go to 100, is 100 a lot? I think it's a lot. So if we maybe, oh, you know what, we do want to have this little like convex look. So 100 I think is really good. So we're going to make it 100F, save that. And when should we be zooming out? Well, we should be zooming out whenever we stop our hookshot, and thankfully we've created a method in here. So we're going to go ahead and find the game object of type. It's going to be the camera move, and we're going to go ahead and zoom out, and this should reset the position. It doesn't need any parameters. Back in our game, let's just put the game in here. We don't need to look at our scene anymore. Hit play. So now when we start flying, whoa, nice. So this gives a bit of a zooming feeling, as if we are going fast somewhere. Very nice. So it's not bad. If maybe we can make it more than 100F. Maybe we can go ahead and make it, where is it? Okay, so in here, maybe make it 120, but the problem is our gun stays in position, so it's not very nice, but no worries about that. Anyways, 120. Finally, what I want to do is I want to add some kind of particle system that will give us the feel as if we are traveling through space. So we'll add a particle system. So usually we used particle systems that we had in our examples. Now let's create our own. So this is advanced Unity. Good. Let's go ahead and right click in here. We can go to the effects and we can create a particle system. So I already have prepared something, so I already know what I'm doing. So just to be completely transparent with you, so you don't think I'm some kind of master in particle system, this actually took me a while to do this. So first thing we're going to do is we want to actually rotate it towards the player. So on the x-axis, let's rotate it like that. So it's -180, and it's going to be in front of our player. So we'll be able to, okay, it doesn't look in game mode. Oh, that's because it's so far away that the player can't even see it. So let's put it in here, and down just a little bit. So is that facing the player? Nope. 3D perspectives are so hard to work with. Okay, so now in our game, yep, there it is. We can see it. Let's put it in here and let's make it a lot smaller. Okay, let's move it away just a little bit. So this is enough if you want to keep it like that, but no, we are actually going to add a lot of things in here. First of all, the start time, let's make it 0.28. So the start time will actually delay in seconds. The particle system will wait until it emits a particle. Then we are going to go to the emission rate, and let's see, in here we have the emission rate, the rate over time. Let's make it 69. So this will increase the emission rate, of course, the number of particles that are emitted. We'll go into the shape and we're going to maybe make the angle 0, so it will become like a cylinder, so the angle will be 0, and we are going to increase the radius, so we'll make it around 4. Nice. So now we have a really cool effect. Next thing we're going to do is we'll go into the lifetime. So the lifetime in here, and let's go ahead and make it 1. So these particles will not be just going all over the place, and it will actually help with our processing power. So the more particles you have, the more processing power it requires. And even my laptop right now, when I decrease the number of particles, I mean the lifetime of the particles, it stopped going. So the fans stopped trying to cool my system. Let's go ahead and increase the start speed from 5, and we're going to make them 20. So now they are super fast. Now we can go back in here and put them just like that. Next thing we're going to do is we'll go to the render, and we want to make them as if they are some kind of lasers going to us. So in render, we'll change this from billboard to stretched billboard. So now we have them a bit stretched, and we're going to change the length of the scale to 13. So, whoa, as you can see, these are now more apparent, as if we are moving through space and time. Okay, so we're going to also change the color over time, and let's go to the color over time, and we can need to, first of all, turn this on. We can choose between 2 random gradients. So we're going to choose, first of all, in here, some kind of blue color, and another color in here, which is going to be some kind of red color. So let's see that in action. Okay, so there is still a bit of white. So in here, let's go ahead and make them completely blue. And in here, we'll make them completely red. So let's see how that looks. Okay, that's not very bad. At least it's something. Okay. Oh, we can maybe decrease the alpha. So this is the alpha in here. We can make it go from 0 to 250. And this will have the same effect, so from 0 to 50, and this, okay, so let's see, that looks good enough. Now in our materials, let's go ahead and create a warp material. So this is the material, we'll call it the warp matte, and we'll make the shader a additive legacy shader, and the texture in here will be the standard. So choose the default particle as the texture in here, and let's move this alpha to be 250. Okay, save that. Now what we're going to do is we'll use this material in our particle system. So let's go back into our particle system in here, and down here in the render, let's close this one up. In here we have the default particle. Let's add the warp in here. Nice. So now this will make our colors a little bit brighter, and you can go ahead and tweak all of this. I really encourage you to go and delve deeper in this. Now I know how most of these work, and to actually go and test this out in front of you and do them will take around 3 videos. So go ahead and try your best, see what works for you, see what doesn't. So great, now we have the particle system. Now all we need to do before we continue on, we need to make sure to pre-warm this. If we don't add this pre-warm, when we actually turn on the particle system, it will not start immediately. It will take a bit of time. So pre-warm is always there ready to start. It does add a bit of performance issues, but we'll not worry about that. It's not that significant. Okay, great. Now with that done, we're going to add this particle system to our player. Now you can either add this to your head, so however you rotate, you keep seeing these particles, or you can simply add them to the player so they move with him. And let's go ahead and reset the position of these particles so they look directly in the face of our player, and we're simply going to move them backwards and move them a bit upwards. So now they look really nice. Now it's time to go ahead and get a reference to them and turn them on and off based on how we want them. So back in our code, up here, and let's go ahead and create a reference. So we'll create a public particle system and the warp particles. Save that. And let's go ahead and put them in the inspector before we forget, because I always forget. Let's add the particle system in here, save that, back in our code. Now, where should we be turning them on and off? We can use them just like we use the audio. We can play and we can stop. So we are going to do just like we use the zoom in. We are going to use the particle system. So in here, we are going to call the warp particles and we're going to dot play them. And when we stop hooking, we are going to warp particles dot stop. And now, you know what, let's turn the particles back on. So now when we hit play, okay, so they are always on. Let's click on these particles in here and let's turn off play on awake. Save that. Now when we hit play, they shouldn't be playing the whole time. Okay, great. So now when we press the E key, we have our particles. Very nice. Now they are moving with the player's head. If you don't want that, you can actually detach them, but I think this looks really nice. So now we can see we have the zooming in, we have the particles, we have our grappling hook feeling really nice. We can jump on top of buildings, and we have officially finished with our grappling hook. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it wasn't too long. And with that said, thank you so much, and I'll see you maybe in the next one.